So Jesus, the one that created us, says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy and thieves break in and steal. But instead store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moth and rust cannot destroy and thieves cannot break in and steal." And then he says, "Where your treasure is, your heart will be also." And so, we just need to realize that Jesus, in everything that he does, and I know so many people hate God's commandments, so many people hate God's ways. He thinks that he's keeping us from being happy, he's keeping us from being true to our hearts. But let me tell you that God is trying to protect your heart. God is trying to protect your heart because he knows the letdown, and he's trying to keep us from investing in things and making things the source of our life when they should not be. He made us so that he would be the source of our happiness, so that he would be our ultimate treasure. And so he tells us to store up for ourselves treasures in heaven, because where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And so many people, this is it for them. This life is it for them. This life is everything that they want, and that's a huge mistake, because it's not lasting. It's broken. We broke it. And by God's grace, he's going to make a new one, and people aren't investing in that. They're not looking forward to that. They're not storing their treasure there in the new heaven and the new earth. They're storing it here, and it's going to break their heart when all that's gone, right? And so let's just talk money-wise. I think it goes way deeper than that. But it's so easy for us to think that we need more money, or we need more things, a bigger house, a nicer car. And for me, I've always loved exotic sports cars like Lamborghinis and Ferraris and other ones. And so my goal, as a teenager, was to have those cars and to pursue them. And even as I accepted Christ, I was like, well, I think I can still have them one day. Money to God seems to be a percentage thing, as long as you give him 10%. And so what if I'm making millions and then I spend, $200,000 on a car? That doesn't sound too bad, right? But the older I get and the closer I get to Christ, the more I just don't care about those things. And where I work right now, it's close to a dealership that sells Ferraris and Lamborghini. Well, Ferraris and I think Maseratis and things like that. And then I typically I drive close to a Lamborghini dealership, and I still think they're neat. I still think they're beautiful. And they're actually, I think they give God glory, because God gave man the mind and the material to make those things, and they're very beautiful pieces of art. But I don't care about them anymore, right? I no longer have the goal to obtain one of those cars. And I remember looking in a magazine years ago when I was still working at a garden center. And it just had this picture of this beautiful, well-lit backyard with, the fire pit and the grill and all these things. And I just remember thinking when I saw that, because I'd been spending time with God and because I'd been, letting him renew my mind, I was like, that's so temporary. Why would I invest in that? Why would I put my joy in those things? And so that's what Jesus is asking us to do. So I don't know what makes you excited about this world. We can definitely enjoy those things. Enjoy the things that God has given us and give him glory, as long as they're not first, and as long as they're not where we find our joy in our life, right? That's not my life is not about my possessions. My life, well, it is my eternal possessions. My life is about loving God, serving him, producing disciples, and helping renew this world, helping get as many people to the new heaven and the new earth as possible, and helping as many people experience heaven now. You can. Man, people can have a good marriage now. They can have peace and joy now in any situation. Even if they were in prison, they could have peace and joy if they had Jesus. And that's what we should be trying to produce. We shouldn't be trying to produce possessions, but we should be trying to produce an impact that will give us eternal possessions.